Today, I effed up by buying everyone an Ancestry DNA kit and ruining Christmas. Earlier this year, Ancestry DNA had a sale on their kit. I thought it would be a great gift idea, so I bought 6 of them for Christmas presents. Today, my family got together to exchange presents for our Christmas Eve tradition, and I gave my mom, dad, brother, and 2 sisters each a kit. As soon as everyone opened their gift at the same time, my mom started freaking out. She told us how she didn't want us taking them because they had unsafe chemicals. We explained to her how there were actually no chemicals, but we could tell she was still flustered. Later, she started trying to convince us that only one of us kids need to take it, since we will all have the same results, and to resell extra kits to save money. Fast forward. Our parents have been fighting upstairs for the past hour, and we are downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. Thank you so much for all the love and support. My sisters, brother, and I have not yet decided if we are going to take the test. No matter what the results are, we will still love each other, and our parents no matter what. And then, an update. Christmas isn't ruined. My situation actually turned into a Christmas miracle. Turns out my sister's father passed away shortly after she was born. A good friend of my mom's was able to help her through the darkest time in her life, and they went on to fall in love and create the rest of our family. They never told us because of how hard it was for my mom. Last night, she was strong enough to share stories and photos with us for the first time, and it truly brought us even closer together as a family. This is a Christmas we will never forget. And yes, we are all excited to get our test results. Sometimes the unexpected leads us somewhere better than we imagined. Welcome back, everyone. We're here together tonight with stories from the Today I Effed Up subreddit, with calm Minecraft gameplay in the background. If you have any subreddits you'd like to hear stories from in future videos, go ahead and leave those suggestions in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this format, a like and subscribe would mean a lot. Let's continue with the next story. This one's about living with a small problem for way longer than necessary. Today I effed up by living in a dark bedroom for 6 years. The overhead fan in our bedroom uses one of those compact halogen light bulbs. 6 years ago, the bulb burned out and got really dim, just barely aglow. I bought a replacement bulb, but when I put that one in, it was also barely lighting up, so I realized the unit was bad. The fan still worked great. It literally is the best fan I've ever had because it moves a ton of air and is super quiet. The fan had also been a gift when we moved into our house. The unit cost over $400, so I didn't really want to replace it, even though our bedroom doesn't get much natural light. So it is pretty dark. So since then, over the years, my wife and I have had to make do with no overhead light. We open the windows during the day, and at night use a combination of bedside lamps and the bathroom light. It's never really as good of lighting as an overhead lamp, so I keep some flashlights up there for when we are cleaning or looking for something. After 6 years of living in the dark, this winter I just decided I would replace the damn thing. But before I did, I decided to try one last time with another bulb because, however unlikely, it's possible both bulbs I had tried were bad. So I'm up there installing the new bulb, grab the remote, the fan has a remote, and as I'm turning the light on I realize the thing is dimmable. For 6 years we lived with the inconvenience of no overhead light, and the whole time it was just because the thing was set to dim. 6 years, just like that. You can just listen along. We'll take the next one slowly. Today I effed up by lying to my wife for 13 years. My wife hates orange and lime-flavored candies. I love them. Well, love the orange, like the lime. So, she passes on the orange Starburst to me. She passes the orange and green Skittles to me. She passes the orange and green gummy bears to me. This has been happening for 13 years. What she doesn't know is that the green Haribo gummy bears are actually strawberry. Shortly after we married, for one reason or another, I looked at the back of the Haribo gummy bears package and discovered this. So I haven't said anything for 13 years. Every time we get gummy bears, she gives me the orange and green strawberry. I've never said a word. I've enjoyed eating my little lies. Until last night. We had some gummy bears and she opened them and she started to hand me the orange and green ones. But after a few minutes, I saw her looking at the back of the bag. Then I saw her eyes get real big. She turned to me and asked if I've known that the green bears were strawberry. She always thought they were lime. I was honest and nodded my head yes. The look of betrayal was unreal. She asked how long I've known, and I was honest. I told her as long as we've been married. She quit giving me the gummy bears she didn't like. She was even eating the orange ones out of spite. I don't think I'll get any more gummy bear discards after this. Time to buy my own. We don't eat these every day. A few times a year at most. I don't just get the rejects. It's a shared bag. Whenever she grabs a few, she would pick out the orange and green and hand to me, just like I would give the pineapple to her. 13 years of strawberry gummy bears. What would you have done in that situation? Would you have said something right away or just enjoyed the extra candy? Whenever you're ready, we'll continue. Today I effed up tipping 140% to a pizza delivery driver. My buddy and I ordered a pizza last night. Unaware that I already paid with my debit card, I walked to my door with $30 and gave him a 20% tip on top of that which had been paid online. The driver was about in his mid-30s, barely spoke English, and he was driving a beat-up car. He said thank you very enthusiastically, which made me realize in about 2 seconds that I just gave him double the money for the order, which he would obviously receive as a tip. I was about to admit my mistake and ask for the money back, before I saw his reaction while he was walking to his car. He had a smile from ear to ear like he found a cure for COVID or struck gold or something. He even did this little mini jump before he hopped into his car. I'm not exactly Bill Gates, I still have debts to pay, but I'm glad I messed up to help someone who needed the money more than I did. Anyways, I felt pretty dumb after, but the joy I saw in that man made my week. Not a very interesting story, but it was pretty cool for me, as my dad moved to Canada from across the world with only a bike and a few $100. Sometimes the mistakes we make turn into the best moments of our day. Let's move to the next story. This one's a bit longer, so we can take our time with it. Today I effed up by pretending to be deaf for the entire quarantine. So, 3 months ago, or whenever it was that the quarantine started, I started an online course for a few subjects. To provide some background, these aren't my school classes or anything, and I've never met these people before. There are maybe 10 other kids in class, and the teacher is actually pretty great. So the first 2 days go pretty well, but on the third day I messed up big time. We were in between a physics class that had already been going on for an hour, and I'd completely gotten distracted halfway through. I have an incredibly low attention span, and this was already too much for me. When the teacher called my name to answer his question, I had no idea what he'd been talking about, so I tried to Google it. However, I have bad internet, so it took like really long to load, and the teacher was getting upset as to why I wasn't responding and why I was typing. So, completely freaking out, I decided to text him on the Google Meet chat and make an excuse that my laptop's audio and microphone are not working today, and I've been reading the subtitles which take quite some time to load, so I hadn't quite gotten his question. In my immense panic, I phrased this somewhat vaguely and said, I can't actually hear, I've been reading the subtitles, they take quite some time to load. To which the instructor said, oh, I'm so sorry, I wasn't aware that you are deaf. In my intense panic and anxiety, I just went along with it, dumb as anything. It actually worked out fine. I type out all the answers sent to me and even bought a hearing aid that I sometimes wore in class. Now I say sometimes because I don't actually have the focus and commitment to remember to put it on every class. When asked about it, I told the people in class that even with the hearing aid, I can't hear much, so I don't usually bother wearing it. They bought it. Everyone in class likes me a lot now too, and they find me very endearing. There's a girl, Carla, who says I have the most beautiful smile she's ever seen. So this was actually going really well for me. But like most of my antics, this backfired on me big time. When I made this decision all that time ago, I was sure I'd get away with it. We were never going to meet in real life. However, about a week ago, the instructor decided to meet in real life as the lockdown in my country has been lifted. I spent all night watching videos of deaf people and trying to figure out how to behave. I decided to pretend to also be completely mute so I wouldn't have to try to speak like them. It seemed very hard and I didn't want to try. So anyway, we meet up and everything goes well. No one uncovers my secret or anything. I spend the entire in real life meet with Carla, who is completely stunning in real life. She's smart, she's funny, she's kind. We keep handing each other notes on tissue papers, and it's the cutest thing ever. I haven't ever been this attracted to anyone in my entire life. Toward the end of the meet, however, Carla hands me a tissue paper with one little heartbreaking sentence on it. Will you date me? Panicking, I tell her I need some time to think, and she's chill with it. I'm supposed to be meeting up with her tomorrow. I can't pretend to be deaf and mute while dating her. It's impossible. But if I have to keep this charade up, I'll have to let her go, and I don't want to do that either. There's also the other option where I tell her it was all an act. Best case scenario is the extreme embarrassment plus amazing girlfriend, and the worst case scenario is she thinks I'm a jerk and I lose her anyway. She just texted me what time to pick her up. The date is actually tonight, not tomorrow, so I have way less time to make this decision than I expected. I'm like a disaster that keeps on happening. Anyways, you should have an update in about 6 to 7 hours, which is when I'll meet her. And then, the update. So this is the update. I just got back from the date with Carla. So basically, I prepared really hard for the date, Googled what the appropriate flowers for apologizing for your lies are, and got her white orchids. I then put on my best clothes and set out. She'd come to the date with a cute little notepad and 2 pencils for us to write notes in, which melted me instantly, but I was so anxious and nervous that at first I couldn't bring myself to tell her. But as we sat waiting for our order to arrive, I kind of snapped because of guilt and scribbled down into the notebook, "Hey, there's no easy way to break this, but I'm not actually deaf or mute." To which she replied with, "I know you're not deaf, but you are pretty dumb," with a smiley face. At which point I said, "What the heck," out loud. She then laughed and explained that she'd thought I was so cute that she'd Googled me long ago and found my Instagram, which has highlighted stories from concerts where I'm screaming and vibing. So she only asked me out to figure out for how long I'd keep it going. So she was actually playing me the whole time. I was feeling pretty bummed that she only wanted to date me for that, but nevertheless I apologized profusely and showed her the Reddit post to explain myself. Best move ever. She found the post funny and cute and adorable. I told her I totally understand if she wants to end the date now, but she didn't. We had a great time and aren't officially dating or anything, but we did set a second date for next Wednesday. She also told me that while she understands why I did what I did, and that anxiety, especially social anxiety, is so hard to deal with, but she also believes that I was a little offensive, especially with the hearing aid. She explained to me why that was so insensitive, and I'd like to apologize for anyone I might have offended. It really wasn't my intention. Also, for our second date, we're planning to volunteer at a center for deaf kids so I can redeem myself. Sometimes honesty comes at just the right moment, even when it feels impossible. Thank you for spending this time here tonight. If you enjoyed these stories and this format, a like and subscribe really helps the channel grow. Let me know in the comments what you thought about any of these stories, or if there's anything you'd like to see different in future videos, the pacing, the stories, whatever's on your mind. Until next time, rest well.